Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 19, First Duty. So it's the return of Wesley, hence the hoodie. And what I love about this episode is that it's not a good Wesley episode. And I mean, it kind of is neatly tied up towards the end, but this whole episode really makes Wesley kind of an unlikable character. And it's interesting. So we go to the academy because Wesley's graduation's basically happening, and he's part of the Air Force type thing, and Picard is there to kind of give the opening address. So there's a lot of stuff kind of going on. Well, it turns out that while Wesley was practicing, another cadet was killed in his squadron. And so now there's an investigation as to why. Now, first, before I get too far, it's interesting. The leader of this squadron, Nick Locano, is played by Robert Duncan McNeil, and who most of you will probably know later on he plays Tom Paris in Voyager. For me, I've always kind of thought of them as the same character. I'm sure most of you guys think of them as the same character. Supposedly, it was even supposed to be the same character. But if they did, then Star Trek would have to pay the writers of Voyager would have to pay royalties to the writers of this episode. So, I mean, it starts getting into legal issues and stuff like that. But for most of us, it's kind of the same dude. We'll put that aside. So, at this point, Nick is telling everybody to lie about what happened, and that the squadron was performing a basic technique, and then the cadet that died panicked and crashed. So, like I said, lots of interesting stuff going on. And while we're during all of this, we finally meet the character of Boothby, who's been mentioned twice already. He's kind of the groundskeeper, who, I don't know, I was trying to do the math in my head. This dude has to be 120 years old. But, I mean, we saw Bones alive in the pilot episode, so it makes sense. Which is interesting because, so Boothby's played by Ray Walton, who, for some of the older geeks that are watching this, was My Favorite Martian. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And this is his first time playing Boothby. We'll see him do it later on, even into Voyager. So it's kind of an interesting character. So as we watch things develop in the episode, we realize that Picard kind of starts putting things together, that the squadron had actually been attempting to go out with a bang, because this is Nick's last hurrah. After this, he graduates and he's done. So he wanted to really go out with a bang, but while they were practicing it, that's when the cadet died, and it wasn't actually his fault. So it's a really interesting episode. And of course, at the end, Wesley stands up and does the right thing, as we all know that Wesley will do. Nick is kicked out of the academy, and who knows what happens after that. I'm sure there's a novel out there. To me, he becomes Tom Paris. He just changes his name. But for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think about seeing the Academy? For me, I loved this episode. I thought it was really well done. I loved Robert Duncan McNeil. I think he's a terrific actor. And this is the first time that I've probably ever seen him acting. And then to see him go on into Voyager, he does such a good job. Now he directs stuff. So for those who have seen this one, what do you guys think of the Academy? What do you guys think of Nick, and do you guys see Tom Paris as being Nick, or do you guys see them as two different characters just played by the same actor? Because for Star Trek, it happens a lot. A lot. We see a single actor play a dozen different roles. It's not that uncommon. But for whatever reason, I can't get these two characters separated. It is what it is. So go ahead, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything. You guys are all amazing. And I will see you guys next time for The Cost of Living.